Okay, so this is for Recitation 12, and today we are going to go over the stuff about the pivot table. So if you go to Canvas and you could find this PowerPoint, this slide, Recitation 12, and you could go through by own if you have time. Just go through all of this from page 1 to the end of the slides. Okay, and right now we could just download the example 3 just at our jump off point for today's recitation. Okay. So today actually we are going to go through the pivot table. Basically, this feature is very useful in the Excel. So since it will present the data in a more straightforward way for us to see the data. So how to create a pivot table? So if you open the example 3, and you will see there are 3 worksheet, and so I want to do the work for the first one. I want to do the work for the cells. Okay. So I click any cell inside the data, and I go to insert. I found the pivot table, and I think this default, so you don't need to make a change, but you could do things right here. So, but right here I just select the new worksheet and just click OK. And you can see there's a additional one showed up instead of the 3. And this is basically a skeleton of the pivot table. And on the right side, you could select any category you want to show up in this table. So maybe for this one, I want to show the data of order date and the salesperson and order amount. Okay, I want to see these 3 cans of data showed up in my pivot table. So if you click this little cross, there's a plus sign right here. You could say each year it will divide it to 4 different quarters, and each quarter it has 1, 2, 3 has 3 months. Okay, and this is a first column. This is the second column, and the second is for the sum of order amount. And yeah, but to some extent, I think the data right here is kind of disorganized, and I want it more like straightforward. I want to see the data more directly, because for example, I want to see the data of based on yearly and monthly instead of the quarters. So right here we could select this group selection on the top, and you can see there is like 3 selections are being checked, but I only want the months and years, so I just uncheck this quarters. And I think this is more straightforward for my purpose, because I want to say the this months data and yearly data. Okay. And right here, actually, you could use this one to expand or collapse the data, and also you could use this little green expand field button on the top, and also this collapse field button. Okay, you could do this. I mean, you could directly click on the Excel if you want to just a single category be collapsed or be expanded. But if you want all of them to be expanded, you could just click this one on the top. Okay, and same logic for this one. Okay, so this is for the sales, the first one, and we go to the second, go to transactions 1, and the same method we want to create a pivot table. So we go to the insert and just click this pivot table. Okay, and for this one, I want to, on the right side, I want to select the category name, product name, and shape country, shape city, and quantity. I want to see the data from these 5 categories. So you can see on the left side, you can see there are a bunch of things showed up right here. So just collapse the whole thing. So the meaning of these 2 buttons is that if you want to see a big picture, you just collapse everything and you could see, this small stuff. But if you want to see a big picture, you could just click a single item and and you can see the very specific stuff. So right here, for this moment, I want to see I want to see more data for at these columns. I don't want them to be blank. I want to see more data, actually. So on the right, you could see on the bottom right, you could see there are 4 countries right here. There are 4 sections. So for this moment, I want to see the shape countries on the column instead of in the rows. I want to see the data of shape countries showed up in the columns. So I just easily drag this one to the columns. I can see on the left, this data will show up, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada. You can see these countries showed up just on the columns instead of in the rows as before. Okay, I think it's more straightforward for me to see the data. Okay. And also for pivot tables, the filter is very useful when we want to get some certain data from for some certain purpose. For example, I want to see the data, for one specific shaper. Maybe, so I just drag this shaper name to the filter. Okay, and once I drag it to the filter section, you could see on the cell A1 to B1, there's a shaper name, and also you can see there's like 3 different shapers. The first one, Federal Shaping, second, Speedy Express, and a United Package. So right here, I want to select multiple items, but I only want to see the data. I want to see the goods shaped by the Federal Shaping. So I just unclick them and only select the Federal Shaping, and just click OK. And you can see the data actually changed, because right here the data only showed up the goods shaped by the Federal Shapings. But if I just select them back, you can see this data will be as usual as before. But I don't want to say the Speedy Express, and I don't want to say the United Package. I only want to say the Federal Shaping. So I just uncheck. Okay. Okay, so right now, if you have time, I don't know. I think there's activity right here. So page 11. So if you have time, you could try it yourself. You just create a new pivot table, and has counters and cities at the row label, and shapers at the column labels, and employees as filters, quantities as values. It's pretty easy. You just actually drag them into different sections. Okay, it's pretty easy. Okay, if you have time, you could do it yourself. So for the next, you could create an Excel table instead of a pivot table. So we go to the transaction 2, and we select any cell in this area, and we go to insert. So at the euro, how we created the pivot table, we just go to insert, and we select the table, select this one, okay, and just click OK. You see, actually there's no worksheet was created because the table will be applied automatically to its original data area. Okay. So right here, but I want to add a new column right here. I want to add maybe net price. And actually, the new column will automatically join the table that has been created. Okay, and I want to input a column for this. The formula for this column. And for the net price, I think it's gonna be the unit price times 1 minus discount. So it is actually H1 times 1 minus I1. Okay. Alright. Oh, sorry. I think it's I2. I think it's 2 right here. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. So this is how we add a new column. We just create a name of the column, and after that we just input the formula for this column and just autofill. Okay. And if you have time, I think you could try it yourself. Just add a new column using the techniques used for net price. You could try to add a net cell, and the formula I think it's net price times the quantity. Okay, just if you have time, you just try this slide for yourself. It's pretty easy. Okay. And also we could do the filter and other stuff for the tables. Let's see. So there is an example right here. So if we want to select the record related to German, for net sale between $200 and $500, the selection should be sorted by product name. Okay. So the thing we need to do is that we go to the ship country, click this arrow, and just uncheck all of them, and only select Germany, and OK. Okay. I think actually I need to just add a new column. So not so. Yeah. And the formula, actually I think, let's see, net price times the quantity, net price, M2 times the quantity, to C2. Okay. And I want to select the data from 200 to 500. Okay, and we just click this arrow, go to number filter, and select the between. Okay, so greater than 200 as less or equal to 500. So okay. And the last thing, actually, I think I need to go to this one and sort from A to Z. Okay. And actually, for the formula right here, there's another way to write it. So we don't use the specific stuff. We just use the, let's see. We use the column name directly instead of the specific cell address. So for this one, we use unit price and times 1 minus the, let's say, discount, actually. Discount. Yep. And it's going to have the same result.